Hello friends, how you doing? I had a video that I was going to be editing to continue in the film mode, but iMovie crapped out on me. Something's going on with iMovie where I try and edit something, and whenever I try and preview, it keeps pausing. So until I figure out what's going on with iMovie or the Mac, I'm going to continue in unedited fashion from my phone, or until I find some sort of an editing software or editing app for my phone. And I don't have an iPhone right now. I switched to the Samsung Galaxy last year. I may switch back to the iPhone. I don't know. So the extent of my editing is going to be me pressing the pause button on my phone. But the good thing here is I have a timer, so I know when to wrap things up. So I want to, I kind of want to do. I want to talk about the Pink Floyd vinyl reissues. Is what I want to do. Pink Floyd is a musical obsession of mine, just a notch below the Beatles. It's a notch below the Beatles. That being said, the Beatles, I will buy anything, and I have doubles and triples of things. With some of the Floyd stuff, I've gotten rid of some of my doubles and triples on vinyl. This past year, they started to reissue the albums again on vinyl. And it's been a pretty successful vinyl campaign. And just to give a brief history, in the 70s, Pink Floyd was originally with EMI in America, an EMI subdivision called Harvest. And in America, they felt that when Dark Side of the Moon came out, they finally hit big time. But they felt that the previous albums could have been better promoted by EMI and Capitol in America. So they signed with Columbia, CBS, in America. And starting with Wish You Were Here on, it was with Columbia. And then at some point in the 90s, the first real big CD digital remaster reissue campaign happened. They did everything, but you could only get Wish You Were Here, Animals, The Wall, Momentary, Lapse, Reason, and Final Cut on imports, because they weren't done in America. Because I think of the CBS Columbia rights issue, something to that effect. They did finally issue remastered editions of them in the fall of '97, and copied. I'll be pausing this quite a bit because I just changed careers. I'm now a stay-at-home dad, and my wife wanted to go back to work, so I'm enjoying it. I have a bit of a downtime right now, but my 2.5-year-old found a train whistle, and he came to show that to me. Just thought I'd let you know that. So, anyways, I think another thing happened where the rights then did revert back to EMI in America come the 2000s. And then EMI then went and reissued officially the masters that were already done and finally done with Sony in '97. Wish You Were Here, The Wall, Animals, Final Cut, Momentary, Lapse. And then in 2011, on the strength of the Beatles CD campaign that happened in September of 2009, Pink Floyd did a big CD reissue campaign. They digitally remastered them again, and these were the best CD remasters in 2011. And then they did deluxe editions and super duper deluxe box set editions of Dark Side, The Wall, and Wish You Were Here. Dark Side and The Wall, Dark Side and Wish You Were Here, you finally got the 5.1 surround sound mixes that were done for the Super Audio CD. And plus, you finally gotten for Dark Side Alan Parsons' quad mix in the box set. And now we have another thing. Since EMI is now defunct, and some of the labels have been bought by Universal Music Group, Pink Floyd formed their own label called Pink Floyd Records. Pink Floyd Records being distributed in America by Sony. So they're back with technically Columbia because I always consider Columbia part of Sony. So they're back. So they're back with Sony in America, and I think Parlophone. And I don't know who distributes Parlophone now in England, but Parlophone's doing it in England. So they went and reissued the 2011 CDs under the Pink Floyd Records imprint. This time with better artwork than the 2011 Discovery editions. But they started a vinyl campaign. And they started to reissue these albums on vinyl. And long overdue, in my opinion, especially the early albums, because you go to a used record store, it's impossible to find Pink Floyd stuff. And I've always wanted the early stuff on vinyl. So, let's show you what we got here in order of release. The first four that were issued were the debut, Piper at the Gates of Dawn, Saucer Full of Secrets, music from the motion picture More, and the first Floyd album I ever owned, thanks to my grandma Julie, Ummagumma. All of these were mastered by the legendary Bernie Grundman. I save hype stickers on these things. Where's my hype sticker? Just so you can see, I save my hype stickers. Bernie Grundman has done an awesome job on these. The pressings are very good. They're pretty quiet except for the usual static pops that you get. But if there's one thing I don't like about the early things is that in the UK, the back covers would actually flap over. Instead, they recreated the flap. If you could see right there on the bottom, this little fake crease. That I didn't like. So you could finally get the first four Floyd albums on vinyl, which I love. And then the next in the series was Atom Heart Mother. The great album Metal with Echoes. And then Obscured by Clouds. Now, this is where things may get complicated. The next in the series was issuing Dark Side of the Moon again on vinyl, but this time, again, Bernie Grundman did the vinyl mastering. And all of these have have whatever inserts came in them in the UK. So Dark Side's got both posters and stickers. And a recreation of the UK custom label. Now, they also issued Wish You Were Here Again. Now, this is where it gets slightly complicated. Not too complicated, but complicated nonetheless. Wish You Were Here, the new Bernie Grundman master. And they recreated the black opaque sleeve that hides the actual album cover. The Bernie Grundman issue is only available in the UK. So I had to order this from Amazon.co.uk. Because in America, it's a reprint of the 2011 vinyl reissue, the one that Doug Sachs did, which was pretty good to begin with, but it was a repressing. Why the UK got the new master, got a new vinyl pressing, and America got a repressing, I have no idea. Excuse me. I have no idea. Because everything else in the series, except for one, The Wall, they just issued The Wall. A new Bernie Grundman one as well. They reissued Division Bell as well. This is the 2011 or 2012 issue that Doug Sachs did. The hype sticker listed Bernie Grundman. It's now been corrected. But what the original one, but what the reissue originally didn't have, was the lyrics. This now has complete lyrics and credits on it. The other one didn't, so an upgrade for me. And finally, Animals. Animals. And I gotta tell you, one, it is worth avoiding the new repressing of Wish You Were Here and going to Amazon.co.uk to get the new pressing of it. And all the other ones are done by Bernie Grudman except for Division Bell. And they are worth getting. If you are a Floyd fan, you like listening to music on vinyl, they're worth getting. Totally worth getting. They're worth getting. They recreated the artwork. They recreated the gatefold sleeves. They recreated the material on some of these. For example, Obscured by Clouds. It's got the nice edges like that, like the original one did when it came out. So they really did a job on them. They sound great, and the packaging is great. Tasteful job all around. There's 2 more that they have to issue. Momentary, Lapse, Reason. For what that album is, I like it. And the Final Cut. Technically, Final Cut's a Roger Waters solo album with Gilmour and Mason. Technically, A Momentary Lapse of Reason is a Gilmour solo album with guest appearances by Wright and sound effects by Nick Mason. But we won't get into that now. I like those albums for what they are. So the Pink Floyd vinyl reissue series, go ahead and get. And if you haven't gotten the 2011 CDs, they're now on the Pink Floyd records in print, and they're worth getting as well. The CDs sound excellent from back in 2011. These new pressings sound great. So definitely, they are worth getting. So check them out. Any of the Pink Floyd reissues, go out and get. Thank you.